Hello, everybody. How are you? I am Retro Nerd Girl, if you don't know who I am. And right now, I am broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And we are going to look at the awesome series, Gargoyles. Now, we have already gone through season 1 and we've gone through season 2. And now we're about to go through season 3. And it is something that we've been anticipating since the beginning because we've been hearing some very interesting comments about that. And just want to go through and see who's here. We got Moonbeam says, okay, I'll be considering my Wi-Fi if it holds up. Yes. And also, I've got storms going through. So if we get a blackout or if I disappear, please do consider, hang on for a little bit and see what happens. Because I don't know, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And we got a message from Mama Bear Doll today. She says, I'll be replay crew. And yesterday's stream got pushed to today. I believe with her and the nerd king of nerds or something to that. I forgot which one. It may Brucifer, I believe, is she's on that channel, and I am gonna have to get the information correctly. Maybe I can give you guys a link and you can check it out afterwards. So let's see. Moonbeam says, okay, I'm ready. And Kimberly is here, says, hi, Retro Nerd. Thank you. I hope that you are doing very well. Hi to you as well. I'm saying, hey, I'm here, guys. Awesome. So, I have a wonderful plate of dinner that is waiting for me. So while I'm eating that, I am going to be playing our video for today. So let's get ready to play. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we are back with another week 18, going through the wonderful series of, now it's actually called Goliath Chronicles. We are on season 3, episode 1. This is really great. Before we get started, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about season 2, just in general. I'm still blown away by the ending of season 2. And also just the general flavor of season 2, how many episodes there were. What can you say, like, to sum up your feelings of season 2?
Season 2 was such a wild ride. And it went not only completely all over the globe, exploring a lot of myths at that point, introducing the world to more than just the standard myths. And it's something that would still be necessary today because a lot of them aren't as, readily knowledgeable, like Anansi. That's, the African belief of the African myth of the spider. That's still not as talked about today, not as known. There's a lot of beautiful African stories that could be done.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely,
for all of that to go so deep into Shakespeare, and the legend of King Arthur, all of that was so wonderful. And to bring it actually not only as a cute side story, but to bring it into the main story itself, to tie it all in. It's so wonderful. And for everything to come full circle, where their enemies of Fox and Xanatos became their allies.
Yes, that was like a big surprise. Such a big surprise. And I was hoping Demona would change too, but it didn't happen.
I don't know. Both of us are walking into season 3 kind of blind, so maybe it'll happen. I don't know. Yeah. But at the very least, Xanatos had a fantastic arc coming full circle.
Absolutely.
more of 180, and it's not quite full circle because he's not the villain anymore.
Yeah. He's actually helping them out, and
He went from caring about no one to being fiercely protective of Fox, and now Alexander.
yes,
And we get to see just how far he's come with that in
yes.
these 3 episodes.
It's really quite remarkable, and
It's
I love
incredible.
seeing him. I love seeing him on the good side.
I
I
know.
do. Yeah, and it was a nice surprise in the season, where especially starting out with him being such an antagonist, and then at the end actually being the one to kind of save the gargoyles from
Yeah.
this horrible situation. Definitely, just so satisfying. So
My
satisfying.
my only gripe about it is they
Mhm.
didn't come out and publicly say that we arrested these people. They're the ones responsible for.
Yes,
That's my only gripe, that they didn't clear the gargoyles' names.
yes. And at the end, you have all the people being very, very upset and angry at the gargoyles. But what about all of the people that the gargoyles had saved or
Saved.
interacted with? I mean, certainly a lot of the people that are living in the labyrinth, they are very much aware of the gargoyles and how much they've helped. So it's really upsetting not to have that part of that be kind of realized in the story. But at the same time, what happens sort of at the end of this story kind of leads nicely into the new season. As far as I know, the main writer and creator of the show at this point left after season 2. He felt that he basically told the entire story that he wanted to tell about Goliath and the gargoyles. But Disney wanted to continue to go further, or I'm not sure exactly if it was all Disney's decision, but whoever
More than
was in
likely.
charge wanted to make more,
It was
and
still
they
wildly
made this
popular,
one.
so I can see why they'd want to continue it. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did want to continue, and it looks there's a slight difference in the animation
Mhm.
for me, and not very much, but they really did a good job trying to match everything up to what was there before.
Yeah, where we go into season 3. This is where they switch over from their previous animation company to one that's actually local to my town,
Oh, really?
called Nelvania. Yeah, I've known some animators who've worked there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, okay, so my eyes were not deceiving me.
Mhm.
Because it's just subtle, but there is a subtle difference visually.
Anytime you switch up animation, it's going to look a little different.
Yeah, just a
You could have
little.
2 people draw the exact same thing, and even if they come, like, really close, and anyone who's read comics will see this, there will always be a difference between one person's artistry versus another.
Yes. There is a slight difference. It's not annoying or anything, or upsetting, or didn't change
Mhm.
anything in
It's
particular.
not
I think
major.
it honors it, I think, in many ways. Now, and the writing, so far, there's definitely, and as we get into these 3 episodes, the writing is definitely slightly different.
Mhm.
But again, they did try to honor the previous season, and even I feel as if they did this thing that happens in the last couple of episodes, where they seem to be jumping from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to scene, instead of giving us more of a contained storyline, and then another contained storyline, and then
Mhm.
it seems like it was doing that whole thing where
Yeah.
there's so many different things are happening at the same time, like meanwhile and meanwhile and meanwhile. And
There
so,
there are definitely, sorry, finish up.
oh yeah, no, it changes the pacing of this kind of a story and the storytelling itself. So as I go through the episodes, it will feel a little like jumpy from one thing to
Slightly
another, but
disjointed,
it
yeah.
does. Yeah, but it does sort of come together at the end,
Hmm.
which I have to say, like, okay, yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But what did
We are
you?
entering new territory in a lot of aspects. With what we've seen so far, there are some aspects that I wish they had continued through, but there are
Oh,
others that I really do like the new changes. Like at the beginning of each one of these, we hear Goliath explaining a
yes.
part of gargoyle culture, and that's one I would have loved the entire series.
Yeah, yes, I do love them. They're monologues that he does in the very beginning and sometimes at the very end too.
Mhm.
For the most part, I think each one he does give a little something, and they're like little anecdotes and kind of lessons learned, and I appreciated those
Yeah.
a lot. That I was like, okay, they're playing into the reason why we like Goliath so much. We like him because even though at times he does get a little bit consumed by his anger, he does have quite a bit of wisdom.
Mhm.
And that's what makes him not only a good leader, but someone we want to follow. We like him as a character. And I think that's why they named it the Goliath Chronicles, because he's such a big piece of this story. Well, let's get into the episode, the first episode, the journey. Now, this one we don't start off with any previously ons like the last time, so we are starting off fresh, just on our memory of what happened in season 2. The existence of gargoyles is now totally in the open. This is our jogger that shows up in season 3 as well, which is really cool.
That was the cool thing about this is what we're seeing, it's a news report.
Yes.
And the news report, we see a lot of very familiar faces that we've seen over and over
Oh
again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's one of
Like,
those things where the kind of everybody shows up for this moment, but it's really to demonstrate just how people are bouncing off the last episode where people were really freaked out about the
mhm,
gargoyles and thought that they were a problem. And the news is just loving it because it's content for them, of course. We know that this jogger has seen lots of different situations with the gargoyles in
yeah,
particular. So he's a good witness. And then we have Bluestone, who is heading the gargoyle task force and is trying to keep everybody calm and trying to say they don't mean you any harm, but a lot of people are not really
they
paying
don't wanna hear it.
attention. Yeah, they see something different and they immediately think this is going to harm us, and they're all afraid, that they're really just scared. The gargoyles wake up from their slumber. They seem to be doing fine where they are, and Goliath goes off to see Elisa, but he's quite angry and a little bit upset. So,
Yeah, and he's heading off right before sunrise,
yeah,
and
which is
they're legit worried about it
yeah,
because if you get caught out there and he's
yeah,
like, "I'm going to see Elisa." Okay, give her our
okay,
best. Uh, the reason why we're seeing this particular picture, though, is in the news report. We see, and I cannot remember the guy's name.
Vinny,
Vinny, thank you.
yes.
We see Vinny talking about how he creamed a gargoyle once, so he gets an invite to this.
Yes. If we remember Vinny, Vinny is from the episode called Vendettas, and he's the one who put a cream pie in
We see
Goliath's
him the
face.
entire episode walking around with this giant bazooka thing. Turns out it was a pie cannon.
Mr. Carter.
Yeah, Mysticata. Love it.
So he goes to a meeting, and the symbol you see on the door is from a group called the Quarrymen. And the Quarrymen are collecting a group of people who are upset and angry, and they are out to kill or capture the gargoyles, really mostly want to kill them. So they are spreading hate and fear throughout the city, which is quite frightening. It was like I was at this point very, very scared. And the speech that they give is just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, don't do this. And it could be a speech for any kind of like intense group that really has it out for another. doesn't have mean,
Their outfits are their full outfits, not what we see here.
uh-huh.
It's very reminiscent of another hate group. I'm
Yes,
just gonna say
yes. Yeah,
that.
yeah. And the really wild thing is that I see so many different fractions of different people
Mhm.
angry at each other online. And if something like this came out today, we could analyze it and say, oh, it's talking about this or talking about that, but it actually is pretty general. Like
Yeah,
anybody
it's your
can fall
standard
under the umbrella of the other and become the hated.
and it's something we see a lot with multiple hate groups. It's generally the same. These people are the reason. These people are the
Yes,
reason for your problems.
yes,
They're so that's been repeated over and over again. That
yeah.
is such dangerous talking points.
Mhm. It's hate and fear. Yeah, it was sad to see this because I was like, "No."
Mm.
Not
Like, the
not
in
from
this
my
case, they even
physical
go that,
partner.
well, you don't really think that they have rational thought, and
Yeah, yeah. It's really intense because later on we will that exact wording comes up again
yeah,
later on. So meanwhile, Goliath meets with Elisa and admits that he thinks that things are getting worse for the gargoyles, and it's kind of a sad moment because he's trying his best to be positive and she's trying to be positive, but reality is sinking in. But I will have to say about this moment, what did you think about them like being full on into a relationship? Was
it's
that not
actually
shocking to you?
kind of cool. You know? I really kinda liked it because it was such a long buildup, and sometimes we see it with shows where they spend so long building it up, and
Yeah,
when you get there, it's kind of loses something about the show. I
yeah.
don't think it hurt it in this case,
Mhm.
because it
Yeah,
was nice seeing, like, moments like this.
yeah, and it's really a sweet relationship. It's not too much in your face, they care about each other, and there is sometimes, a little snuggling and canoodling, but it is not so far, it's not annoying.
Yeah.
The ones that it's like, "Oh, our relationship is everything," and not in this case. It's gently in the story, but it is a big part of the story, but it's gently woven in. In the middle of them talking, Goliath turns to stone as the daylight comes up, and it's really kind of a cool moment. He's in front of her apartment building window, which is first of all, her apartment building window is so cool.
It
Eh,
was for me, and I guess it wound up being semi-prophetic or whatever. My As we see the sun starting to come up, I'm, like, thinking, "Get inside. Get
yes,
inside the apartment."
me too. I was like, oh yeah, we need to take this inside,
Get him
right?
inside, like, get him not in any suggestive way, get him into your bedroom where people can't see.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he's out in the open. At the same time, the quarrymen are spreading lies and they're
They're going around smashing every gargoyle statue they can see,
oh,
and the ones that we usually that they smash,
mhm,
yeah, they're not our gargoyles, they're
yes,
just stone statues, until they discover Numpty, who didn't climb inside.
yeah. I
I'll
don't know
say it.
why, yeah. And the thing is that their hammers are also electrified. So even when they are going to be faced with a gargoyle, they're going to get that electrified shock, which
Mhm.
we know is the one thing that can stop the gargoyles for sure. They're just going to town, smashing everything, and they've got the helicopters. Like, we found one,
Mhm.
we found one, and they send a guy down there to smash this particular statue, and just in the nick of time, as Elisa is putting on a dress because they're going to go do something. I'm not sure what they're doing. Um,
They had a date.
they had like a little date. She's all dressed up for going on a little date, and she goes she looks outside and she sees this, and
Yeah.
she manages to get there just in the nick of time to save Goliath. It was very harrowing.
He said in the moment as she like tackles him, like he gets up and he's like, "The way you're reacting to this, that tells me it's the real deal."
Yes. I love that
Maybe
part.
she
I was
just
like,
really likes her art. I don't know.
yeah, I was like, okay. And then did he say something to her like, you're a traitor or something like
I
that?
think there was something like that.
Yeah. So there,
Or that might have come in later,
that
but
might have
I
come
do
in there.
remember that coming into play for this episode,
Yeah.
that, you chose your he said it to, Vinny. "Well, are you gonna destroy her too? She's human." Like, she picked her side.
Oh,
She's a
yeah,
traitor.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're very much clan-like to the point where they see any human that helps a gargoyle as a threat. I mean, he really kind of manhandles Elisa a little bit even on this rooftop, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, it's kind of like I thought you were only after gargoyles. It doesn't matter. In this situation, they managed to get rid of these guys because Goliath comes to life right when sunset happens and saves the day because
Yeah.
it was looking bad. It was looking bad, and just in the nick of time, he was about to be smashed again. Then Hudson is looking at the news with Bronx, and it is really insane what's happening on television. But he watches a debate about gargoyles on TV. We've got the DA Margot Yale and Lennox McDuff, who we know is Macbeth in disguise, advocating for the tolerance of gargoyles, which I was like, oh wow, so cool. He's actually doing something nice.
Macbeth never had a problem with gargoyles in general. It
Yeah.
was just Demona. And that
Yeah.
was very clear from his character right off the point. He even did say that, "I have no quarrel with you, I just want your queen."
Yeah. And that was great. It was nice to see him like
Mhm.
on the side of good. And even though he like you said, he's never really been a bad guy and we've always rooted for him, but he was never really on the side of gargoyles until
He
now.
was never 100% bad, but he hasn't always been helpful.
Yeah. And at the castle, everyone's getting along really well, and that's really awesome. And Lexington is getting really getting closer and closer to the baby. That bond really was created when Alex took over his body for a little
Mhm.
bit back in a couple episodes back, and I did love that they had sort of a unique connection
Yeah.
because of that. It seems like everybody kind of did. Let's see.
They are realizing that they need to that Lex still has a lot of animosity towards Fox and the Pack.
Oh, yeah.
So they do need to work through that, and that's what we're seeing addressed here.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
But and they do like find the common ground and the trust. But there's it's still a rocky little situation. I
Yeah.
don't think it's fully resolved yet, but it does. We won't get ahead of that
Yes.
storyline, but but they're being chased. Goliath is and Elisa being chased by the quarrymen, and they actually hurt one of Goliath's wings, and they're going to try to make it to the castle before dawn. But unfortunately, they don't make it. They actually end up at the clock tower where it's just completely surrounded by rubble and everything. Meanwhile, you see the jumping around that's happening here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Broadway is confronting Angela because
Humphrey.
she was raised by humans and doesn't understand why they hate gargoyles. What's really surprising about this is that these two have become a couple now.
I don't know if they were officially a couple at this point.
Yeah.
But he is definitely taking this, and this might sound bad coming from me. He's definitely taking this as an opportunity to get closer to her.
Yes. Yes.
Because we see Brooklyn coming in, with some flowers or something to try and,
Oh, yeah.
cheer her up. And by that point, they're already like snuggling on the couch.
Yeah.
So clearly
Yeah.
they weren't quite fully an item at this point, but he
Mhm.
is definitely comforting her.
I think she and Broadway got close because of them being possessed by Cold Stone and Cold Fire.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the relationship between those two and the fact that they possessed their bodies kind of created this strange kind of bond between the two of them that it cannot be broken at this point. There's definitely something more to them after that
There's
experience.
definitely an echo of what happened in that episode lingering in here.
Yes. So
Because
I
we
think
see Brooklyn being the outside man, looking at this, feeling a little jealous.
yeah,
The connection with Lexington and Alex. Yeah, there's definitely some,
something
I don't want
going
to
on
say
there.
lingering after effects, but it's very,
Yeah.
very reminiscent.
Yeah, and I kind of I was like, okay, so they're taking a lot of stuff from season 2 and carrying it over beautifully. I did like the care with that. Goliath and Angela end up at the clock tower, which is now deserted and a hot mess. It's just rubble everywhere. The quarrymen pursue. It turns out that a lot of the quarrymen are not volunteers because they said someone is paying them. And I was like, who's paying them? Like,
I know, right?
okay, it's not Xanatos. And I'm like, is it Demona doing this? Because
I can't see Demona putting her kid at risk.
oh, you're right. I'm trying to figure out who could be paying the quarrymen to do this. So
Thalog would be a thought, but then it's still putting himself at risk.
yeah.
So I really
Ooh.
can't think who else it would be as a player at this point.
Yeah. With that much money to put.
But again, that still has him at a risk of being on the receiving end.
Exactly.
So that would not be a tactically wise move.
Yeah. So yeah, we're dealing with a brand new villain here. So somebody with a lot of money who wants the gargoyles out of the way, and the quarrymen are just the right people to do it. Some for money and some volunteers. Just when they've got Goliath cornered, the kid Vinny stops the zealot Castaway. His name is Castaway. His first name is John Castaway. He's the real, like, he's the one who gave the speech. He's the one who's been really like psycho about this whole thing. He's been trying to get Vinny on board. And Vinny's like, I don't think this is right,
I don't actually hurt them, and he admitted, because the way he left it, that it sounded like he had won. But he's like, I smacked him with a cream pie. I didn't want to actually hurt anyone.
Yeah. Vinny has a lot of motivation to hate gargoyles.
And he doesn't.
Yeah. He doesn't hate them. And I think he just got involved with this. And this really is now I am going to give them a lot of credit for this.
Yeah.
This is how a lot of people get involved with groups, hate groups that aren't really, they're like, really, I didn't really hate him that much, but everybody was doing it, or all my friends, they made me feel like I was a part of a group, and so people can get trapped into something like this, being a minion for other people's hate, because they get emotionally involved, or they get kind of coerced into it. And the thing that Vinny mentions is that he's moving to Japan because he's got work in Japan now.
Well, he middle of the episode, he mentions that he got an approach from someone in Japan that he was thinking of taking it up. But in this whole scene, like where he he tries to talk reason into John Castaway. This is where Castaway calls Elisa a traitor for siding with the Gargoyles, which again is something we've seen in real life.
Yes.
Like I said, their particular outfits, completed outfits, it's very reminiscent of a real life hate group. So I can see the parallels they are making here.
Mm-hmm.
And bold story-wise, and I do applaud that approach.
Yeah, it is very bold. It's subtly saying something, but also making it very human. Like Vinny is just a guy who got caught up in something that was way bigger than what he even wanted, and he made a choice not to continue down the road, to change things, to actually stop it before it got insane.
He actually saved the day.
Yes, he did. He
saved
saved
Goliath. That's awesome.
Yeah, he saved Goliath. And this quarryman guy was just jumps off the. Does he jump off or is he thrown off? I think he jumps off.
I think it might have been thrown off.
But he
doesn't
saved.
matter.
Yeah,
he comes up on the ladder, classic villain thing.
Yeah, with the helicopter. So he shall return. We suppose he's just one of those people that we been introduced to, but we might see again. Goliath gives a wonderful dialogue now, or monologue. Do you remember what that monologue was exactly? No. It was like, sort of a wonderful closing speech about, I'm not even sure. But also the closing music has changed also in season.
I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward. I was like, what is this? But it was okay. It was just different. And so we'll struggle through it somehow.
No choice.
Yes, and this is them saying their goodbyes because he's going off to Japan, and Elisa says a really cool line. She says, do you want to tell, should somebody tell him that there's gargoyles in Japan?
And he's like, I'm sure he'll find out. The only thing that caught me with this one is at the very end when we're hearing this monologue, Goliath, who since having his wing injured, was very adamant that, I can't fly with this. It's going to have to wait till stone sleep. He hasn't had his sleep yet. You can see the bandage is still on his arm. Then they fly off, towards the clock tower all of a sudden. I'm like,
I thought you were hurt.
You were hurt. You weren't supposed to be able to fly. What? I'm sure that was just a mistake by the animators, but still.
Yeah. But I was like, okay, well, maybe he's just a little bit better. But yes, I did see that, and it was kind of like
it made for a great ending, but there's still that continuity error.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been anything bad for him to hang out there overnight. So yeah. Well, we'll go on to the next one, which is season 3, episode 2, Ransom.
This was such a good episode.
It was. It really was. It really moves along the story quite a bit because these 3 episodes really tell a nice opening for the gargoyles in this new setting. This sort of like after they've been exposed to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one really gets into some of the results. So Ransom, Goliath has a monologue about wealth and greed. And I'm like, oh, okay. What? He's so cool. He's like, we gargoyles, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah. He's really great.
If somebody eventually, and I'm putting this thought out there for people, anyone who has the ability, if they put together a collection of Goliath's monologues, that would be so great just to listen to.
I know, project for one
somebody who has that ability.
Yes. A gargoyles nerd that would be amazing. Lexington is at a toy shop and buying a toy for little Alex, and he nearly gets caught. It's really cute. It's a cute little sequence because at one point he pretends to be a toy, and it's like the guy is like, "Oh, they're getting uglier and uglier every year."
He's like, "Who's ugly? I'm not ugly."
Lexington is so cute, and
I
then
know.
meanwhile, this is happening. I remember this little park at NYU. It's really cute. I love the fact that they decide to have this happen here. Angela and Goliath are watching a politician. Unfortunately, the candidate, Doyle, wants to get rid of all the gargoyles when he becomes mayor, which really excites the crowd. The crowd is like loving it. They have posters like, get rid of all gargoyles, all sorts of stuff. So he's inciting more hatred because it's great for his business, being a politician. And part of
It's a fast way to win elections is saying this person is the reason why everything is wrong with your life.
and I'm going to get rid of them.
We've
And
seen it over and over again.
oh yeah. And this is part of Angela's witnessing the cruelty that people have for the gargoyles
For the different.
and she was really like disgusting. Candidate Doyle is being voiced by John Forsythe, which is one of my favorite actors of the 70s and 80s. He voiced Charlie in the Charlie's Angels TV show.
Yes.
And he also voiced, he was actually Blake Carrington in the 80s for the wonderful show Dynasty, which my mom and I loved so much. He was also in Scrooged, and did a fantastic job in that too. I just love that actor. He was so great, and so it was so nice hearing his voice for this series, and he really did a great job.
It's definitely one of the best things about this series is when you get those familiar voices that you just adore, because they have so many fantastic voices. We've said this over and over again, and you're just like,
yes, yeah. Absolutely, yes. So I was a little starstruck watching this. I was just like, wow, they got him to do this. Oh, great. Well, meanwhile, Lexington is getting really close to Alex, and it seems to be the only person that can really get. He seems to be the only person who can get Alex to go to sleep.
yeah, because we hear as Lexington's entering the castle, we hear Alex crying, and I've been there. My heart goes out to Fox in this moment, because when you got that kid crying and nothing's stopping it, you're like, oh my God, please.
What's happening?
And then Lexington shows up and he goes, what's the big and as soon as Alex sees his face, he starts calming down.
Yeah. I love it. He's like, what's the crisis? Yeah, I did
That was
love
the
it.
word.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it like, first of all, again, like we said, Lexington is super, super cute, and then you have Alex there who's super cute. It's one of the biggest moments you just love.
Just as we see, like, Lexington has just gotten Alex to sleep.
Oh,
and
yes,
he puts
yes.
him into the crib. That's when, like, the wall explodes.
Oh, yeah.
And Lexington gets buried in rubble. We see Xanatos, like, knocked out on the ground. And masked people come in. It's not the same masks we saw in the last episode, so it's not the Quarrymen. And they're trying to get a gargoyle. They desperately want one, and like Xanatos is like, "What's a gargoyle?" I've never even heard of it.
Which I'm very surprised at, because in the last episode of the last season, he's the one that saved them. I don't know why the police or the camera crews did not pick that up. So,
but he's not willing to give them up. I mean, I can't blame him. And again, this shows a lot about who he's become, his new character, and because he won't give them up. They take Alex, and Fox I love her. It's the mom response because I'm sorry, nothing comes before my baby. She's like,
Yeah.
"There's one under the rubble right there. Don't take my baby.
Yeah.
Take the one under the rubble." And they think she's just biting, you know.
Yeah. It's
So they
great.
take the baby instead. In this
It's great.
entire episode, we see the two of them butting heads on this situation because she's like, "Yeah, I'll turn them all over. I want my
Yeah.
baby back."
Yeah.
And he's like, "We cannot give in to this because that will show that there is leverage for us,
Yeah.
and it will not be the last time."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I get it, but
Yeah.
her priority has shifted.
Yeah, it is about the baby. It is
Mhm.
about the baby. It's not anything against the gargoyles or Lexington in particular. She just wants to keep her baby safe, especially after what they've already been through with
Yeah.
Oberon like fiercely
And
coming after
that
her baby.
and that is a shift that is natural in a lot of mothers,
Yes.
where you see that there is nothing that comes before. This is where my world is centered around now, is this human being.
Yes. Yes. We need to understand, you know what that's like, because definitely your name Mama Bear.
Yeah, from the moment I first saw her, it was my world shifted directly onto her.
Aw.
Nothing came before her. I've said it a number of times. As much as there's a lot of trash about the whole Twilight films
Oh yeah.
and books, that moment when Jacob sees Renesmee, that
Okay.
describes that moment for me, seeing my kid perfectly.
Oh wow.
Nothing, like your whole world shifts.
Oh wow. Yeah. And I think that's definitely what Fox is going through.
Mhm.
And we're witnessing that.
She was like, "I'll turn them all over."
Yeah. Give them what they want. But
That is
Xanatos knows.
100% the mother's response.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Xanatos knows you can't do that with kidnappers. And
And I
so
will 100% give him credit for acknowledging her feelings in these moments, but
yes.
also talking reason into her. He's not
Yeah.
going, "You are acting crazy." He's like, "No, no, no. I feel for you. I want him back too. We can't do it this way."
Yeah.
So
It was done so well. And this is the nuance of the writing, in which I have to
Mhm.
give 100% credit, because we're now getting, we have new writers who are doing things similar to what was done before, and
it
they're
has that
keeping
similar
the
flow.
flavor.
Yeah, that similar flavor to it. That's a great
Yeah.
way of putting it.
Yeah, they're keeping the flavor of what was so good about the first two seasons, and I loved it, considering the past as well, considering
Yeah.
everything that's happened in the past.
'Cause when Lexington comes out of the rubble, Fox loses it on him.
Oh yeah,
And
yes,
again, that is 100% her reacting out as a mom who just had her baby stolen. And
yeah,
I recognize that's what it was, but in that moment, you kinda hate her.
yeah, you do, because she comes at him like, "Oh, you were supposed to protect him," and
Yeah,
Lexington really
and that's
takes
something
that
that
to heart.
affects him throughout. Yeah, it affects him throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, he really takes it to heart, but also you really sympathize with him, because he loves that baby.
And
He
y
really does.
you kind of understand she's acting out of pain,
Yeah,
but it's still, you hate her in that moment. It's, at
yeah,
least for me, I recognize that she was acting out of pain, but it's not cool.
yeah, and yeah. Well, that's not why the gargoyles are at Wavern again, to protect them, even though they want to. They
That
can
is
protect them, but
that is their duty.
yeah, that's their personal duty, but it is not
Yeah.
something that, they're not hired.
No.
And of course they want to protect as best as they can.
I mean, yeah,
Go
you had a
just a
whole
little bit.
castle full of gargoyles. Why hold it against this one particular one?
Exactly, yeah, and that was the emotions talking. That was the
Yeah,
emotions talking for sure. Um,
100%.
and well, Elisa appears at Doyle's campaign.
I love that you caught it on this particular part of the speech,
Oh
because
yeah,
that particular phrasing is exemplifying everything he discusses about. He rants really about gargoyles.
Oh, yeah.
That particular phrase, the gargoyle scourge.
Yeah.
That's 100% his character for this.
And you're not sure if he actually hates them, but he's playing upon the emotions of the audience and getting them excited, and he's promising to catch one. Yeah, he's drawing up a lot of fear and hatred just for his election, and he promises the crowd that he's going to capture and destroy one gargoyle before the election to secure the vote. Then people were really charged up, and they were going around destroying all of the gargoyle statues again, as if they were like, where are these guys finding all of these gargoyle statues?
I'm just going to say, who's ever making gargoyle statues in this New York, they are making a mint. Because you know these companies are like, I want my statue back.
They're like, okay, we got another order for a gargoyle statue.
We have another 50 orders tonight.
And it needs to be fulfilled by the next episode. Yeah, so that's really wild. So he has created such a stir that people are actually out there trying to destroy any representation of gargoyles that they can find. Absolutely insane that it has gotten to this level. And Elisa shows up at Waven Castle and warns the clan that they can't go out into the streets right now. And then Lexington shows up announcing that Alex has been captured.
And so he's holding Alex's baby blanket this whole time.
Oh, yes. It was so sad. Because
even when he turns to stone, he's like with the baby blanket. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that really got me. I was like, oh, no. So, and just for context, there's a lot going on in this episode. It's a lot more intense than the last one, for sure. Yeah. Thanatos talks to the press about Alex's kidnapping. Meanwhile, Doyle is watching and laughing his butt off. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, yeah, and in my notes I put guilty much.
No.
He's just dying laughing. And Elisa Maza walks into his office and asks some questions, and she starts berating him for inciting violence, which she has every right to and should, because he's just so.
The captain was pissed about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the captain was the one that sent her.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Really slimy person who uses people's emotions. And this is all for the election. And this is our biggest fears of what we believe that politicians might do. And so, or people seeking elective office. It's
not even might do. It's have done many times in the past. Yeah. And I was actually surprised that, and I guess I bet this was a choice in the writers that they didn't do it. But I was a little surprised that at one point, because Elisa being with both of her parents, saying what probably would have pointed out these same things were said about my parents.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was a little surprised that didn't happen, but I can see choice with the writers.
Yeah. And I think that might have been hitting the nail too much on the head.
Yeah, and that's probably why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
These parallels a lot in these episodes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help it, and even today with a lot of the different, like I said, not just different groups of people like being on opposite sides, and the ralliness and the bonfire of hate and fear, or just general just horrible talk.
And it's all through rise. And it's all through and being driven by misinformation and ignorance.
And people who just want to prop up and say false things for fun, to see what people will do, if people will bite, and if people will follow them, pay for things for them. support them in their journey or whatever. So it gets to be a lot of. While
Yeah,
Elisa is at his campaign office, she notices one thing. He's got a lot of security there.
like an
And
abnormally large amount of security there.
oh yeah. And so she's like, what in the heck is going on?
Why do you need so much security? It's like, well,
Yeah.
I am a politician.
With that small crowd at the at the park, I
Yeah.
don't think so. You're not as big as you think you are. But yeah, he has a ridiculous amount of security, and
Mhm.
it is the tip off that something weird is going on with this guy. And not only that, him laughing earlier at Xanatos telling is, mentioning his son being captive is definitely ringing off all sorts of spidey senses that were just like, something's going on here. At night, the clan arrives to help Xanatos save his son again. But it turns out the kidnappers want a gargoyle in exchange for the baby, and Owen can't help because he's unconscious and is in the hospital. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, because yeah, if Owen was there, he just and
Well, he's allowed to use his magic in
protection, right?
protecting the baby. So if
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back, if Fox wanted to yell at anyone,
Oh,
I'm just
so true.
Go full puck mode, when it comes to protecting that kid.
Yeah, because it would have been very easy for him, but he was knocked unconscious when the blast happened. And this is clever writing, isn't it? It's one way to get rid of your main
And it was
Deus Ex Machina,
your strongest character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even catch that he was missing or that he got knocked unconscious until they said it.
Yeah. He was just not there anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was a nice way to make sure that character, if you had questions, he's out of the picture. And Fox wants to give up one of the gargoyles. And this is something that I noticed, and especially in that moment, her voice sounded a little different.
Yeah.
And sometimes did Xanatos. Not all the time, but sometimes his voice changed just a little. So
I don't think the voice actors had changed, but
I don't think so
we
either.
could look into it.
Maybe they had like some pickup voicing that they had some other actors do, but it was very interesting. I noticed like her voice sounded just a smidge different than normally what she sounds like. As we mentioned before, this is the scene where he says, hey, you don't give in to these guys, or
we can't give in to this, or it will happen over and over again.
Yeah, and I love it because he's like, he plans to end all of this tonight, and Lexington
he overhears where the exchange is supposed to happen.
He is really feeling bad about this, and so when he learns about this location, which is going to be at the public library, he heads on over there. This is him saying, this ends tonight. Oh yes, and poor Fox, she's broken up. You see her holding the teddy bear, and she falls into a chair.
This is the same teddy bear that Lexington brought him.
Yes, I was like, oh man. And she sits into a chair and she starts sobbing. I was like, whoa, I really felt for her character and at that moment. Oh, is that the kitty cat?
Yeah. He's made an appearance in a few episodes.
Yes. Oh man, so Doyle has a press conference shaming the violence and but also condoning it too. It was kind of weird.
Shaming the violence. And why did the violence happen?
Yeah. But he was actually condoning at the same time. It's like, oh, people are scared.
It's kind of like McDonald's shaming fast food.
Yeah.
Just gonna say.
Yeah.
Fast food is the reason for the obesity epidemic.
But people
and who's responsible for that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It was very manipulative, and you can really see through it.
Mhm.
And he claims that he's doing everything he can to help find baby Alex, and we
Yeah,
don't believe it.
we will offer we will offer an exchange of this, for the safe return of baby Alex. And
Lexington goes to the New York Public Library and gives himself up, but these guys capture him. Um, eh, but listen, look at this thing that they put him on. It is totally fitted just for him, and he's a unique size
yeah,
for.
that would not fit any of the others.
I was like, really? This is
What would happen if you had gotten Goliath?
yeah. This would not work for none of the others. This is specifically for him.
I will give credit to this whole scene when they capture him and lock him into this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, why does it have 5 points? And as soon as they get his arms and his legs in there, I'm thinking, okay, well, tail isn't going to do much, and the tail's like, whoosh, psh, psh, okay, yeah,
They're like, yeah, get that thing and lock it down, please. Yeah. Yeah, he put up a good fight, but I think he wanted to be caught too. This contraption is really insane. Imagine being trapped on something like that. Like, oh, I was like, poor Lexington.
And they bring him to the rally.
Yes.
Like, can you imagine going to a political rally and having somebody strapped up like this?
Mm-hmm.
That's messed up.
Yeah. In front of a whole bunch of people, like looking at
and
you.
No one
like
says boo.
Yeah. And nobody
no
says,
going, okay, maybe this is a little far.
No, yeah. They should have been like, oh, wait a minute, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what this creature is, it's alive. But yeah, they don't care. But
as soon
when
as Doyle touches down with the helicopter here, Lexington recognizes it.
Lexington recognizes it and tells Elisa that that's the same helicopter that
took Alex.
Yeah. And so that was perfect. I was like, okay, good. Now we can do it. And Lexington says, actually, Elisa was about to save Lexington or, take him from his chains. He's like, no. Don't do that because he might hurt Alex. And this is just proving how much Lexington really cares for Alex. He's willing to go through anything than to they're throwing things at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, no, just go get Alex and make sure he's safe.
And of course, she on the route, she calls the gargoyles, she tells them everything.
Yeah. Elisa and the rest of the clan actually go to Doyle's office and rescue baby Alex. It was so awesome. I was like, yes. Yes. And this cruel man has him like locked away, and the poor baby is just crying. It's just brutal, with no one to give him a hug or to soothe him or anything. Just really cruel.
Well, most of the clan, you had Brooklyn and Broadway watching over Lexington, just in case things got too far.
Yeah, he was not by himself out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, gosh, look at that. Xanatos arrives, but he arrives with baby Alex in his hands. And
Doyle goes pale.
Yeah, look at him. You see him in the background. He's like, what?
He's like, oh, spit.
But he loses it. He like totally loses it, and he grabs baby Alex.
Well, because Xanatos is like, this guy is the one that arrested him. My baby was found in his office. He kidnapped my son. He did this for a publicity stunt. I want this man arrested. And when the person that owns like 90% of New York goes, I want this man arrested, the cops are like, bet.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, Doyle is like one of the worst individuals. You don't take a baby and use it for ransom.
For a political move.
Yeah, it's just insane. And so
I mean, that's low even for a politician.
yeah, and I don't know what he's planning. He's planning on killing the baby. I mean, he just has gone insane, and everybody is like trying to get this baby. Lexington goes off, and he just breaks out of this thing like it was aluminum foil, pretty much.
Yep.
And
and he wasn't going anywhere. He tried straining against them, but when he heard Alex crying, he's like, "This is where I go Goliath mode." Ping.
Yeah, glowy eyes, the glowy eyes mode, and then he went off, and he rescues baby Alex.
Doyle throws baby Alex like he's a football.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and you get this nice shot of Lexington catching him mid-air and then rolling, and so like he's holding him like this when he lands. And my first, I even said it out loud. I'm like, I'm hoping the cameras were rolling for that.
Yeah,
Somebody
I know.
catch that on film.
Yeah, there he is, very happy in his arms. And it's just great. It's a great moment when he catches the baby too. It's like instant love between those two. Some cop is like, let's grab him now, and another one is like, he just saved the baby.
Literally, you captured it perfectly. Get real, man. He just saved the kid.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going. I'm hoping somebody caught that on camera.
Yeah.
Put that on the news.
And it's one of those things like, okay, we get it. They're weird and they're different, but did they cause this problem? Did they, they're the ones who are trying to save a baby, and
they saved the baby.
Yeah. And while they were just standing by idle. So it was one of those moments. So it's very, very apparent that Lexington and the baby Alex have a very unique bond and friendship, and it's just like, they when the sun rises and he turns to stone and the baby gives him a little Kathy.
It's so cute.
It's really wonderful. I love this episode. It was really good. It had a lot of twists and turns. And as we were going through the story, like we were saying in the beginning, a lot of meanwhile this is happening and meanwhile that's happening. But it still works. It still works somehow. And then any other things that you might want to say about this episode?
I don't know, but of the three of them, this was definitely my favorite. It was fantastically done. Yeah.
It really was. It was well done. And this surprised me because you think, okay, well, this is a new season, new writers. This is they figured it out. They figured out how to keep the story going, but also to also have the same flavor, and they're adding a little extra. So yeah, there are lots of sentimental touches I'm enjoying about season 3. So the next one is season 3. I got the wrong number up there. Episode 3. Sorry. Yes. Sorry about that, guys. And Runaways. Again, this always tugs at my heart because of the Twin Towers that they have there. Goliath monologues about how each gargoyle must find their own way with the help of the clans. It's quite nice to hear that because you're like, okay, how is this going to play out in the story? Well, first thing we see is that Elisa is tracking some robbers that are so dangerous that they have been known to kill people, which is we haven't really, I mean, we've had dangerous people, but like
this
robbers
is the first time they've mentioned villains that are bad enough to be doing this.
Yes.
And not major villains, just criminals.
Yeah. Yeah, but these guys are just street level guys that are ready to kill. They've killed people in the past, so this is raises the threat level quite a bit.
Mm,
And the gargoyles are helping her. Goliath is radioing in to Brooklyn. He's daydreaming about Angela.
dating
Yeah,
Angela.
yeah, he really likes her a lot, but he's in
Yeah, we
love.
need to get him a boo.
Yeah, he's in love, but when they call him, when the call comes in from Goliath, he misses it, and
He just
he's
misses the truck. It's not even
yeah,
like it's a huge
few
miss.
seconds, yeah, a few seconds, and they're gone. And Goliath, when he finds out, reams him so good, like he
To
just
the point
goes
where
to
it was either Elisa or Angela. One of them goes, "Don't you think you were a little harsh?"
yeah, yeah. Lisa, she was like, oh man, like she's got her hand on her. Um, I and I was thinking at that moment, I was like, Elisa is such a good mom. Look
I
at
know.
her being mommy. And so yeah, he gets scolded very harshly, and he really impresses upon him that this is a matter of life and death. And we did get the preamp to this, like them saying, "Hey, these guys have been known to kill people, so
Yeah.
this is a serious matter."
And we know it's a serious matter, but in the same respect, yeah, Goliath was
Harsh.
really harsh on him.
Yeah.
Like, I realize he's your second in command and you're going to hold him to a higher standard, but there's still.
Yeah. And he was like, you're treating me like a hatchling. And Goliath was like, stop acting like one. I was
Oh,
like,
oh my God.
"Aw." He's been doing a lot of good work, and
It's one
he
mistake.
yeah, it's one mistake. And I think the pressure now of Brooklyn being the next in command is
Yeah.
definitely there. It's definitely there. So I think that was the other thing too that kind of made it hard for you to see him kind of feel like he wasn't doing enough, and
Mhm.
also to get yelled at like that. It hurts sometimes when you're doing your very best and you just feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter because also the next scene,
Doesn't help.
yeah, he's like, okay, he's back at Wavering Castle. He was gonna go talk to Angela, but Broadway and Angela are all cozied up with it looks like hot chocolate drinks. So
Yep.
cute. And so Brooklyn is really feeling left out, misunderstood,
Because he
and
he was looking for a little comfort for Angela, and
yeah.
did he have something in his hands this time? I don't know.
I'm not sure if he had something in his hands to give her.
Yeah.
But I think it was in his fantasy he had, and I think in his fantasy he had some flowers, and she turned around and she was like, ah, but it was a
Yeah.
dream. Yeah, it was or a fantasy. But in this case, he came in the room, she lit up, and it turns out it was Broadway she was responding to, and he was just
Yeah.
like, oh man,
It's a moment that, like, I don't know if it was for you, but for me, definitely it was. My heart dropped for him.
yeah. It did. It did. I felt really bad for him. I've been in that situation. You like
Yeah.
somebody and they don't like you. They like someone else, and it's like this feels um like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? What can I improve? Or what is, you always like internalize it. But then on top of the earlier situation with Goliath, ooh,
Mhm.
he's really feeling bad now.
Yeah, he's
Um,
feeling very much of an outsider at the moment.
Yeah, so he kind of runs away a little bit.
Mhm.
He goes out into the streets,
Which I'm
and
guessing is semi-safer for them?
yes,
Yeah.
it's a little safer.
It
They're
wasn't
not
like in the
like
first episode.
yeah, yeah. So as he's out in the streets, he sees a young boy who is he's actually running deliveries and packages. Elisa has tracked him, and sees him, as he's going to different locations to deliver stuff. On one of the deliveries, he almost gets hit by this van, and Brooklyn comes in and saves him. He's totally freaked out, so he goes to his little hideaway. Brooklyn follows, I guess, just to make sure that he's okay. His sister is there, the little boy, Dave Porter, his sister Bobby, and then there's another kid there that's a little bit older. His name is Kenny.
Yeah.
And they all work for a crime lord by the name of Radar. This is really and he's called Radar because he seems to know whenever bad stuff is going to go down. And so, yeah. So yeah, it's really sad because they're pretty young. I mean, how old do you think these kids are?
I mean, she can't be much older than my daughter. I mean, she's got to be around like 11, 12, max 13. No way she's older than that.
Yeah. And the boy, you think maybe like 15?
Yeah, he's
14,
like
15.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah. Now
like they're still young.
Oh, and the other kid is 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out later that he just turned 18. Okay, so some goons came over the night before, and Brooklyn makes himself known to these guys because he saves them from these goons who are going to beat them up.
Mm-hmm.
And so
they're like, Radar will be upset at you, and they're like, Radar's not here.
Yeah. This picture is the following morning. Now, a little bit prior to this, Brooklyn asked the kids, can you hide me and look after, make sure I'm okay during the day, just to keep me safe, and I'll protect you guys at night. And so they agree. And I was like, why didn't they spend a little bit of time with them moving his stone statue into that little crevice?
Why didn't he go in there?
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
it's the same thing from the episode 1 in this season. You're like, don't be a dummy. Go into cover first.
Yeah. Go inside. This is a bad time for you to be outside and exposed.
If you're worried about being exposed,
there's the crevice right there. So, yeah, he should have gone there, but okay, he's in there now. Yeah. But Radar sends some other goons out there and wants to know, hey, we know that you guys have seen a gargoyle around here, or we know that there's a gargoyle around here. Have you guys seen it, or where is it? And so there's a bounty out for gargoyles. It turns out that
seems to be the $1 billion, quite literally, thing to say, because you see Kenny's eyes light up.
Oh, yeah.
They say it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, he's like, okay, well, this might be my ticket out of the slums. And so decides to betray them as soon as he hears about the prize money of $1 million. But also a lot of props to these kids, Dave and Bobby, who are like, no, we made a promise. And I was like, wow, okay. These are actually good kids. When you boil it down, they're really actually good. And so Elisa is definitely still on the street trying to look for clues and stuff, and she recognizes Dave and Kenny, who she's actually said that she's locked up in the past. And so he goes to Radar's goons, but Elisa intercepts. She follows him and tracks him down. And the bad guys take Kenny to Radar to get information from him while the gargoyles.
Where's my finder's fee? Well,
say that again.
He's like, well, where's my finder's fee for fighting this gargoyle? And it's like, yeah, your finder's fee is your life.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have known better, but at that point, you'd think maybe he would have been like, oh, okay, well, maybe I don't need to do this anymore. But somehow he's still on their side. while the gargoyles wake up, they're looking for Brooklyn.
Mhm.
They notice that he's gone, and they're like,
Yeah, he
what?
hasn't come back tonight, and they're worried.
Yeah, they are worried about him, even though Brooklyn had some problems and issues, or maybe there were certain things that they were at odds with him. He's still part of the clan. He's still they love him very much, and so they want him back. The kids get a beeper from, like, okay, at the time there were these things called beepers. You have
Pagers,
to
yeah.
want to explain that to the audience.
Yeah, they were pagers because before cell phones were common, they still had some. Anyone who's seen Saved by the Bell knows there were cell phones, but they were like carrying around a book. Literally, about I have books about the same size as what these were,
Yeah,
and they were expensive. But a lot of kids had pagers, and you would send like little code messages,
yes,
with your phone number or the phone number you want them to be called back. You want to be called back at.
exactly. Yeah. And so these kids get a little message from Kenny to meet them in an alley. When they go to that alley, they get ambushed by goons.
Mhm.
And so it is a huge, big action scene that's really dynamic and very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Mhm.
And they manage to manage to get a dart into Brooklyn
Mhm.
with a tranquilizer. Let me rephrase that. Somehow they
Take
managed
your
to
time.
tranquilize Brooklyn. He falls, into a sleep, and Angela and Kalaya show up. Elisa find Dave and Bobby, who are telling them basically everything that's happened. It's also apparent that Dave has gotten hurt during the scuffle.
Mhm.
So they're like, "Oh, we need to take you to the hospital." And he's like, "No, no, no, we've got to find Brooklyn." So again, that shows you that this kid has a lot of he has a strong moral code, and even being hurt is not going to stop him from
Yeah,
helping Brooklyn, who is in trouble, clearly in trouble right now.
just slightly off of where we're currently talking. Um, if I remember correctly, when Angela woke up, she was freaking out. And it's in this moment I really kind of started to dislike Broadway
Okay.
because he came up, he comforted her, and it wasn't in this episode they actually kissed while she was
There
like
was a kiss.
crying over. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there
I
was a kiss.
kind of I disliked him about it, you know.
Yeah, there was a kiss. And I don't mind it so much.
It was just the circumstances surrounding it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you should be worried about your buddy, not taking
trying
advantage
to
of the situation.
trying to be romantic.
Kind of hated it. Kind of hated that
Yeah.
moment.
And me too. I think when it comes to romance, because I just recently saw something like that. It's nice if you're gonna kiss somebody and you're like, okay, bye, and you give them a quick kiss. It's right. That's your kiss, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like a kiss, you're thinking about like if this is a passionate moment, or where you're expressing love to a partner. But in the case of like trauma, a hug is probably more a soothing
And
pat on the shoulder.
this is
Um,
his childhood friend.
yes,
They come from the same hatchling group.
yeah,
Why is she the one freaking out and he's not?
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly,
her reacting
exactly.
like this is kind of understandable, but why is he taking this opportunity to kiss her and not needing consoling himself?
Yeah.
You know? That felt really messed up about that.
And see, as much as we've been giving them so much credit, for writing so well, that was a clunky moment. That was very clunky.
Yeah.
That was very clunky,
I
and
don't know if that was a writing choice or if that is something that they're leading up to, like, a conflict between the 2 of them. I really disliked
oh,
Broadway in that moment.
yeah.
Really
Uh,
didn't like that.
well, he's different in this
Yes, in this
season.
season, he's different. He
Yeah,
is not as focused on food, and
jovial,
I
fun,
don't like him as much.
cute, adorable. And
Yeah,
what about all of his love of mystery movies
yeah.
and being a detective? Like, that would have been cool if he had done some detective work in this episode. Like, oh, we're gonna find him, and this is how, like, play to his strengths.
I
And
mean, the last episode, that 100% would have been a great opportunity for him to go, Dick Tracy mode,
ooh, yeah, yeah,
you know?
uh, and yeah,
Or even in this one, your
we
friend is missing.
yeah, we lost something in that character.
There's gangsters. I'm hoping they turn Broadway around because I really don't like this version.
Yeah, yeah, and he was so lovable in
You
the
know,
earlier the earlier seasons. And so, yeah, let's hope that they do turn him around. So far, he's not a character to me at this point.
no, no.
They have not given him anything to do necessarily, and and Angela as well. Angela as well.
Mhm.
Um,
She feels more of Goliath's second in command than Brooklyn does.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
That's the way it feels like, and even at the end of this episode, well, when we get there, it seems like that too. It seems like it. Okay, so this gets really hairy at this point. They're at Radar's hideout, and he's negotiating with his
Someone
buyer
on the
on the
phone.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
this is again hinting at somebody rich who's running behind the scenes.
is it Renard?
I
No,
don't
Renard
know. Renard's a
doesn't
friend of
hate.
theirs.
Yeah, he doesn't hate the gargoyles. Dang, trying
Like,
to.
it wouldn't be Macbeth. I don't want to say Thalog, so there's someone else at play at this point that has a lot of money.
Yeah, at first I was like, who could it be? Demona? I keep wanting to blame.
I
Demona
know.
hates everybody, though. That's the other thing. Even though,
I'm with you. I'm kind of hoping for a change of heart with Demona.
yeah, me too. And also, you brought up the fact that she doesn't want anything bad to happen to her daughter.
Yeah.
So, that's where she draws the line in the sand. I don't know, like, I really want to know who it is. Oh my god. It could be that guy from Japan.
That's possible. He would
Um,
have a reason to dislike gargoyles at this point and would want one to clear his name. And you and I both said he did really come off as a Xanatos.
yes. Yes, he did. I'm trying to find his name. Taro
Yeah.
was his name. And
That's a good guess at this point. I'm
mhm.
with you. That could be a running theory for who was behind this.
But I don't see him mentioned in season 3, so maybe that's the only other person I was
I
thinking.
don't know. Like, we're in episode 3 at this point, so I don't remember how many episodes there are, but something.
Yeah. Oh, how many episodes there are? There are 13 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing in the next couple episodes we're going to find out.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll find out soon. Look, it's always great to speculate, and it's always fun to
Mhm.
speculate. But definitely, my curiosity is just like, who could this be that's causing all this trouble? And it's not Xanatos.
Yeah. Like,
What
they're
if
leading up to something.
it's Coyote?
It could be.
It could be Coyote. Well, I'll keep going. It could be one of the any one of the pack. they all hate the gargoyles. Just as you think that Kenny will change, he actually goes full bad guy and takes Bobby as a hostage. Yeah, it's really sad to see that he doubles down on being a crappy human being,
Yeah.
and he ends up getting arrested. And see, he has been getting locked up and released all the time since he's, a minor. But now that he's 18, he's going to probably do
Yeah,
some
because when
time.
Elise arrests him, he's like, "Go for it. I'll be back out on the street in no time." She's like, "Nope, not
Not this
anymore. You just had a birthday. You're being
time.
tried as an adult now."
Yeah. And that was kind of satisfying, but
Yeah,
yeah, unless somebody pays his bail, which
that's
there's,
probably not going to happen.
no,
He's too
you don't
low
think
on the
so?
totem
Oh, yeah.
radar to care about him.
Yeah. You're probably, yeah, you're
Oh
probably
no,
right
that
about that.
they did say in the episode that that's why he's doing this. That's why he has kids doing all his running for stuff.
Yeah.
Because the kids will get arrested and nobody really puts the connection to him or or really cares about it.
Oh, yeah. So he's just aged out of even that job.
Yep.
No more work for you, Kenny. And so this part is really interesting because at the hospital, the kids, Dave and Bobby, are reunited with their parents, which is quite sweet. And it's like, oh, wow.
And they were inspired by Brooklyn to get back in touch with it. He talked them into it. They
Yeah.
thought that, like they don't want us, that.
Yeah.
But because of something Brooklyn said to them,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, these are our parents. You can contact them. We want to go home.
It's really sweet. And you feel like that you can tell that their parents really love them,
Mhm.
that whatever issues they had,
As soon as the
the
mom sees them, she's just like, "Oh my god, my babies."
yeah. I mean, and it's wild because they left because they felt like their parents were always getting on them about stuff, and also that their parents weren't getting along with each other. But
No, and they do say it in the episode that you only do that to people you care about.
yeah, yeah,
You know, you only like you will be on about the stuff that drives you crazy about that, or people will be on about you about the stuff that drives you absolutely crazy but they're doing it because they care, because they see potential in you and they want what's best for you.
yeah, yeah. I want you to be better than
Mm,
maybe even what they had in their lives, or
yeah.
just to have more and have the best. But in this particular case, mom and dad actually did love those children, and if they knew that they were going to lose them, they probably would have gotten some help to try to keep their family together.
Mm,
So, but now they're reunited, and it looks like they're on the way to some healing,
yeah.
and which is it's not, you can't just go through this and not deal with it at all. There has to be some healing from this. So it was nice to see they were on their way, and there was the desire too. Well, outside the window we have Goliath, Brooklyn, and Angela, and I thought this was a really sweet scene
Yeah.
of sort of the next generation. That Goliath is with the next generation to take over the clan, and he really, it has like some wise words to say to Brooklyn realizing that the gargoyles are his family and they love
Yeah.
him. And Goliath loves him, even though he's harsh, has harsh words. It's always from a place of love. And
Mhm.
so that's hard to know when you're young, right? When you're young, somebody, you get scolded. You don't understand that the reason why somebody's saying that to you is because they are trying to care for you,
Mhm.
or they love you. And if they didn't, they wouldn't say anything. They
Yeah.
wouldn't care. Like, do whatever you want. I don't care. And that's what, when you're young, you think, oh well, why don't they just let me do whatever I want? But those misunderstandings and those issues are real. There's a real thing, and I think I like the fact that this story kind of went after school special.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
was
A
very
little,
after school special.
yeah, very after school special, and it was actually pretty cool.
Mhm.
Or PSA, public service announcement route.
Yeah.
Uh, any other words to say or
No,
comments to
after
say?
school special kinda summed it up.
Yeah.
Beyond that, put Brooklyn back to Broadway back to what he was. I don't
Yes,
like this
I want
version.
I want my Broadway back, and I want more personality from Angela, and
Yeah,
and
she's lost something in this too.
yeah,
And I'm
because their character trait is just being boyfriend and girlfriend to each other. That's not a character trait.
yeah, no.
So yeah, we're gonna keep soldiering on and watch the rest of this, because I think there's a lot of great stuff. I like this episode though, and we did have our criticisms of it. But
For me, there was a lot more criticisms in this one than the other 2.
yes, yes, yes. But I did enjoy the story plot of
Mm,
the underworld, the sort of street level kind of thing. And this is a perfect example of what the gargoyles actually doing a good deed for
yeah,
people. And again, more of these stories should be coming out instead of more people like, oh, what are they? Well, there are people out there who are doing they are doing good things. And so um that is it. Now we come to the homework for week 19. We're getting down there. We only have 2 more weeks to go. Uh
mhm.
this for oh gosh, I have the wrong season. Season 3, it should say. And we have episode 4, 5, and 6. And that's these
I'm
are very interesting. Broadway Goes to
very
Hollywood.
titles, yeah. I'm guessing in episode 6, we're going to see something more of, Lisa's brother, knowing where that particular phrase comes from.
Dying of the Light.
There's a poem, "Tiger, tiger, burning bright," and, the dying of the light comes from that poem.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so and of course, episode 5, we got something for Bronx. Yes. Ah!
Yes.
The doggy and Broadway Goes to Hollywood. So okay, we were talking about Broadway's character, so maybe we'll get more of a resurgence of his character in episode
I'm
4.
hoping we get more of who he was.
And when it says Goes to Hollywood, wasn't Hollywood one of those clones?
I actually think Hollywood was Broadway's clone.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe they do something together?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Or
yeah,
Broadway,
the clones went down to,
the Labyrinth, right?
yeah, the Labyrinth with,
Yeah.
Derek.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's another one with Derek too.
Maybe.
So cool. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. Uh, so yes, so everybody will meet again next week for week 19 for Gargoyles. This was so much fun. Thank you again, Mama Bear Art Doll,
Yes.
and we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Okay, guys. Oh my goodness. That was actually kind of a wild one, because I think those were I won't tell you my entire thoughts of season 3 just yet, but those were pretty good. I think they were really good. Like I said before, I had my criticisms. We had our criticisms, and I think there were just so many changes, and we're still trying to wrap our minds around those changes that we can see. So, yeah. Skywalker the Jedi, so great to see you, says a Bronx Tale. Yeah. Having to do with our boy Bronx. He is such a cutie in the show. And I really wish they had more episodes with just Bronx. He was so adorable. And this one is actually from generally from my memory, I think it was a good episode. So yes, yes, yes. And Kimberly says, I can't wait, Retro Nerd. Oh, great, great, great. And Moonbeam says, Tiger, Tiger was an episode of Batman. The poem is by Blake. Uh, I think you're right. I think I'll when we go over it next week, I get into the poem and everything. And Kimberly says, gives Bronx a bone. Yeah. Yeah, so just in case you guys don't have it handy, that is the homework for this week coming up. Week 19. So we got week 20 and then 21, and then we're all done. Wow, can you believe it already? The entire series is would be complete at that point. And so if you guys can catch up on the homework this week, and then next week we'll go over these episodes. And oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, Kimberly, you're so sweet. You're adorable. Thank you so much, Kimberly. You're really kind. Let's see. Now, before we go on, I just we'll go off air. I go off air. Let me go over what I've got going on coming up. Okay, so I've got I don't know, some of you have if you guys are following my music channel, but every Friday I'll be releasing brand new music every Friday. And I'm thinking about also releasing some on Saturday too. So I'm not sure, but for right now, it's every Friday, brand new music on my music channel. And that is also where I have the coffee song that I premiered on 4th of July. And then also the song for the Retro Nerd Girl channel. Right now, I'm working on the video, and I'm gonna put that video on the end of each live stream because I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hilarious, and just something fun for us, so we can have a sense of community and fun. And then let's see what else. Okay, so Saturday. Saturday is a big day. So 2 p.m. East Central Standard Time. I'm not sure what that means for each one of you. Check your listing. Okay, it's already posted on my channel. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. We're going to be watching that on this channel, and we're going to have two guests, Lorena Creole, and then we're also going to have Douglas A. Burton, the author of The Heroine's Labyrinth. And he is so excited for this. He's got I think he has some pictures he wants to share with us and just some things that he wanted to talk to us about. And his perspective on the film. So, as you know, the last time it might be like a little presentation. He's just wonderful. And then later on that evening, we're going to head over to Lorena Creole's channel and watch Star Trek 6. And from a lot of people say that's the best Star Trek movie. If it's not, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. People would usually pick that one. And I think that's going to be it for the week. Anything coming up? We're talking about Galaxy Quest on the 20th. We're talking a lot more music. We're talking about young Sherlock Holmes on the 27th. And on my birthday week, we're talking Swamp Thing 1982. Guys, you got to dig out these movies because it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun for the rest of the summer. So, let's see what you guys are doing. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. I see something in the comments. Um, and Moonbeam says, "Oh wow, we're almost done. It has a satisfying ending. Is it satisfying? You know what? I could have, it could have been longer. Season 3 could have been longer, and I think I didn't feel like it was totally satisfying for me. I wanted a lot more." And Moonbeam says, "Retro Nerd Girl leads the way." Ah, you're so sweet. Um, Let me make sure to put. I'm gonna put the link for the music channel in the comments. Let me just make sure to copy it. Copy. So definitely subscribe, and so every Friday at 4 p.m. Or at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or 2 p.m., depending on where you are, we will be doing a brand new bit of music. And I'm debating whether to do that on Saturday as well, because I'm getting quite a bit of new music created. And let me press that. There we go. And Stuntbread says, red glasses. Yes. Okay, guys, I've got red glasses. Woo. Let's try them on. Let's see how it looks. Interesting. I'm not quite used to my face with the red glasses. I'll have to see. I like it. It really looks very superhero-ish though, doesn't it? I don't know. Let's see what you guys say. Oh, I could see a lot clearer though in this. And let's see. Moonbeam says, "Yeah, Indiana Jones is a labyrinth. Yeah, it's just wonderful." And Moonbeam says, "Oh, Swamp Thing, yeah." And let's see. Kimberly says, "Subscribe to the music channel." Oh, thank you, Kimberly. This is awesome. And Zembra says, "What? Awesome!" Yes. And Lance is here. Lance just walked through the door. Say hi, RNG. Hello. Yeah, so these are the new glasses, and I'm gonna probably start wearing them a lot more. I can see everything. I mean, they really are, and they're also blue blocking sunglasses. I mean, glasses as well. So it'll help protect my eyes from the computer. So that's awesome. I'm excited. Let's see. So what do you guys think? Does it look okay? Like, I'm used to the black though. Thank you. Thank you, Lance. Thank you so much. Yes, these are my new red glasses to match the look that we're trying to achieve. Now let's see. And Moonbeam says, okay, I'm sub to the music channel. Yeah, the glasses frame your face nicely. Oh, thank you. You are so sweet. Thank you. This is so wild. I, so yeah, this is almost looks like the same glasses from the picture. I'm trying to see if I can find the picture. Let me see if I can pull up that picture again, because that picture is like so cute. The coloring, like I say, the coloring is a little bit off because it should be a little darker. But let's see, what file is it? Trying to remember what the file was that I had. Oh, yeah, there it is. Look, now we look like twins, right? So yes, yes, I'm trying to match it. Um, oh, thank you so much, says Retro. You look darling. Oh, thank you. And Kimberly says nice glasses. And Wendy says, yeah, they're close. Yeah, they are. They're pretty close. The ones in the picture though are like a lot bigger, so they're definitely a lot bigger. But yeah, it's really close. And Lan says, sexy Catwoman, perfect. Okay. Well, that's the black ones. Let me see if I can show you guys the black ones. Here are the black ones, the same shape. Because I was trying to get one pair of glasses, and they said, no, we need to, give you two pairs of glasses. So I was like, okay, I'll take two pairs of glasses for the price of one. Might as well. So these are the black ones. They're a bit heavy. They're kind of big, and there's such a shine from the reflection, but it's cute. I like it. It's all right. I still do like these. These are like a lot lightweight, and they're really small on my face. They're really tiny on my face. So I'll have to get used to the bigger ones, but I'll tell you this is clear, like as far as like being able to see everything, it's so clear, I can see everything so clearly. And Kimberly says my mom is lucky retro nerd. Oh, she is. I don't know how is she lucky? Because I love her. She's lucky because I love her. And Moonbeam says, "Oh, those are nice. Oh, great." And Lance says the red pair is better. Oh wow. Okay, well, you know what the best way to really make it pop is that we gotta make sure the have the right lipstick going here. Like, make sure the lipstick is popping. So if the lipstick is popping and it works out a lot very nicely, I think. I think it's okay. We'll rock this for a while. And Kimberly says, I can't wait to see more of you retro. That's thank you. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. And okay, so yeah, we'll close out the show like this, and we'll see. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great time this week. It's summer, and just steal whatever time you can to smell the flowers that are out there. Touch some grass. Be one with the universe. Look at the clouds, so on and so forth. When it gets really crazy and hectic, sometimes we can all like forget about those things. But if you can, steal some time to do those things. And oh yeah, okay, so there were some pink ones, and I want to get those too. I want to get the pink ones too. Then they weren't too expensive. Um, they're yeah, they're not too expensive, the pink ones. I might get those too, because it's nice to have like a backup. But the pink too. There was one thing that had black, pink, and red all together in one pack. And I was like, wow, I should probably get that one. I should have gotten that one. But I think something was stopping me from getting that. And so this pack was like a much better deal. It's weird shopping. You're like, okay, what should I do? Yeah, especially when you're shopping on a budget, you don't want to just shop for everything. Well, anyway, guys, I am gonna see you in the next one of these. Without further ado, I bid you adieu, and I will see you in the next one. Let's see if I can get you a small little thank you. Here we go.